I want to talk to you about something that is really quite delightful for me. And sometimes I have to get the courage to do this stuff because when I first met the Lord, strong calling was to feed. I didn't want to build anything. I didn't want to be a hero. I just wanted to put food on the table, so that God's kids could be healthy and wise and strong. And so this is one of them, and it's called Becoming Human, Remaining Human, Functioning as a Human. This all broke upon me, and it's kind of seminal. Sometimes for me, it was a little bit shocking. And above all, it was very, very compelling to me. Some of it started from a book by Walter Wink called Christ as Fully Human. Walter Wink is an unbelievably good author and helpful. He's got some strong books on powers that be, and so he did a thing called Christ as Fully Human, and his theme was that we were so important that Christ was the Son of God that we neglected, almost forgot, that God is intending for him to be the human as God intended. Son of Man is Jesus as a full human being obeying the Father. And so as I read, it was so consoling to me. And his original purpose, let us remember, his original purpose was that the earth would be governed by a human being. Now, please don't forget that, because that is more foundation biblical than you can imagine. Human is what God is intending. Now, that a human would govern the earth is really quite a challenge. And so now technology, AI, all the crazy stuff, brain transplants and things in our mind. And I thought, so I just want to introduce you to these three concepts. And if maybe you need to listen to it again, but when you do, you'll find something out that has really, really been helpful, which is I need to be a human like God created me. Second, I need to remain a human. And the challenge was to function as a human. I can do this pretty quickly. You will catch it. It will mean something to you. Becoming human is really important because the first pair, Adam and Eve, departed from God's human scheme. They left God's intent and picked up on the theme that the serpent was offering. They became serpentine and wanted to be like God. And so consequently, we lost something when the failure came. Now, very simply, what we lost was our spiritual dimension. We lost being dead in sin and trespass means that as a human, I lost some spiritual capacity that Father had given me, and it was really important. And that spiritual capacity is called the sixth sense. When we lost that, we were trapped in five senses, smell, taste, and all. So the five senses became our prison. The new birth takes us out of the limitations of of that failure of the five senses, restores to us the metacognitive, the supernatural, and I am giving eyes of my heart, spiritual ears to hear, mind that understands. So I am now becoming human as God intended. It's the most beautiful thing, and if you mess with that, you will see that the new birth was designed to equip us to walk with God the Father, with God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Second one is absolutely a challenge to me. Remaining human. Jesus Christ remained human by the kenosis. He emptied himself of all the divine privileges. Oh my. Let me give you some three little letters. A-A-M. Acting against myself. When I learned to act against myself, then I didn't go up in pride. I didn't go up in some kind of a place where there's no oxygen. I started to learn how to be human, to remain human, to be human so people could touch me and that they could touch you. And so humanity is Christ is human as God intended. He was designed to fulfill that place. Third one, not complicated, it's the woman at the well. Jesus goes there especially to meet her. She's really messed up, and talking about Samaritanism and mountains and Jews and all this stuff. And Jesus, which is my model, Jesus speaks from his humanity to her humanity and says to her essentially, "Oh, lady, what you really need is your Father. A Father is seeking you. He wants you to be human. And so if you will worship Father in spirit and truth, you will find Father and your humanity." Now, I know most of the teachers put it on the emphasis on worship, but it's deeper than worship. It's something having to do with her discovering her humanity. And this man told me everything I ever knew. And so she comes to a fresh new humanity, goes back to her little village, tells them all what she saw and heard. They all begin to respond because the message was real. God the Father loves man. What is man that you should be so mindful of him? The reason is Father is preparing mankind to rule, govern, and inherit the earth.